Hi, I'm Vince Kokich, and I'm the current editor of the American Journal of Orthodontics and Dentofacial Orthopedics. As an author who's about to submit an article to the journal, I know that you'd like to be successful in this submission process. But there's some problems with manuscripts that are submitted to the journal that are avoidable if one knows what to look for. My managing editor, Chris Burke, who's been with the journal for over 10 years, has prepared a wonderful video that helps authors to overcome these problems. Please view this video and you'll find some valuable information.
Hi, I'm Chris Burke, Managing Editor of the American Journal of Orthodontics and Dentofacial Orthopedics. One of my responsibilities at the journal is to screen each new submission to make sure it's been prepared for review and possible publication. We use the Elsevier editorial system, or EES, for our online submission and review process. Last year we received 856 new submissions in EES. In order to handle so many, we ask authors to follow some pretty specific guidelines. You can download a complete copy of our author guidelines from our website. I'd like to point out a few things that might make this submission process easier for you. One thing you should know is that your submission will consist of a number of different files and file types. Text and images are treated differently and must be submitted in the right format. You'll need to break your text into at least two separate documents. The title page should include not just the title of your article, but also the name and affiliation of each co-author and contact information for the corresponding author. We use a blind review process, and we won't send the title page to the reviewers, so you can also include on it any acknowledgments, specifics of your IRB approval, or anything else that might point to your identity. The remaining text for your article can go into a single document we call the manuscript. If you are submitting a traditional research article, the manuscript should include these sections: structured abstract, introduction and literature review, materials and methods, results, discussion, conclusions, references, and figure legends. The structured abstract should be 250 words or less. The manuscript itself should be under 4,000 words, or about 6 journal pages, not including figures. If your text runs longer, we'll likely ask you to shorten it or justify the length. Use superscript numbers in your text to cite your references, and number them in the order cited. Be selective in what you cite. Your goal is to provide the references that support your work and not an exhaustive bibliography. If your list of references includes more than 30 or 40 citations, we might ask you to explain why so many are needed. Include the full list of references after your conclusions section. If you're not sure how to format references, read our author guidelines or examine any recent article in the journal. Like all peer-reviewed journals, we must follow a very specific format of punctuation, capitalization, and abbreviation. If your references are not prepared according to this required format, we'll have to send the article back to you for correction. After the reference section, include a list of figure captions. Don't include figures or complex tables here. You'll need to submit them separately. Before you finalize this document, take a last look at it. If you see any identifying information, you can use the black highlight tool in Word to block it out. If your article includes tables, I encourage you to prepare and submit them in a program like Excel. This format preserves your columns and rows, but it allows us to apply our type styles and sizes for publication. If you submit your tables in a graphic format, JPEG or PDF for example, we'll ask you to replace them before we publish the article. Submitting figures can be a challenge. For photographs and most illustrations, we prefer to work with high-resolution TIFF files. High resolution means the figures have at least 300 pixels per inch at their published size. Look at an article in the journal and think about how you want your figures to look when they're published. A one-column figure is 3¼ inches wide, and a figure that spans the full width of the page is 6½ inches. Make sure your figures have at least 300 pixels per inch at the desired size. If the images you submit are too small, if the resolution is too low, or if the quality is just too poor, we'll have to send them back to you and ask for something better. Submit photographs in color. For charts and graphs, black and white is okay. But always use the simplest formatting and shading possible and avoid 3D styles. You can submit charts and graphs as PDF or Excel files if you prefer. If you have just a few figures, you can upload them one at a time. If you have lots of figures, you might want to use a program like StuffIt, which allows you to zip several files together and upload them as a bundle. Files 15 megabytes or smaller upload fairly reliably, but larger files can be uploaded if needed. The title page, manuscript, tables, and figures make up the content of your article. In addition, we need some documents that allow us to publish your submission. Every article needs a copyright release signed by all the authors and a statement on conflict of interest. If your article includes a patient's facial photos, you'll need to submit a model release allowing publication. If you are reproducing a figure or table from another article, you'll need to include permission from the original publisher to reuse the material. If you are submitting a randomized clinical trial, be sure to visit the Consort website so you can download and complete the appropriate documentation. For systematic reviews and meta-analyses, visit the PRISMA website. Case reports have slightly different requirements, and you can get more information from our website. Once you have uploaded all the required files, EES will put everything in order and build a PDF. You'll be asked to review a quality check of your figures and agree to an ethics and publishing statement. Once you've done all this and approved the PDF, the submission comes to me. If everything is in order, I'll pass it along to the editor and the review process can begin. I'm Chris Burke, Managing Editor of the AJODO, and I look forward to seeing your submission.